Good morning, y'all. It is Friday, 7:40 a.m. Oh, I used to love to get out really, really early in the morning. Sunrise. So awesome. However, over the years, I have cared for that less and less. So, I wanted to tell y'all, I forgot to mention it in another video, but, first of all, this morning when I went around to dump my trash and check my mail, all the trash that was piled up over by the mailboxes, and I've showed y'all that big old pile of trash before, and I've also shared with you that I've actually scored a couple times over there, 3 to be exact. Now, what I'm going to do with that little blue folding table, I don't know, but I'll find something to do with it. Anyway, it was all gone. Every last little tiny bit. Now, that goes to show you what you can accomplish when the heat's on. I told y'all in a previous video, I think I haven't even released it yet, but that there were a bunch of people roaming around on our property, and a big bunch of them were from a management company. So what happens is, a lot of times in property management, is the owner of properties will hire people, and they have what's called regionals, which at least they used to be, that oversee several properties. And then next down in line, are the property managers or community managers. So what happens is, when a company grows too big, or they start taking on properties that they manage, they're called fee management properties, and that's where they're managing properties for other owners. So their properties get out of hand. They get too many of them, and so then they have to hire a management company, and usually the management company will oversee properties in the same area. Not always, but a lot of times. Now, this is a really tricky this trailer right here. There we go. Woo! Anyway, gosh, I hate it when these big old trucks are here. But that's what I am suspecting has happened, is that they've got too many properties, and so now they're looking for a management company to come in and manage their properties locally, and maybe even a little farther out. Now, what I know about this company is they keep acquiring properties, and not only in California, but other states as well. And this is what happens. Con-Am was the same way. When I first started with Con-Am, I was managing a company-owned property, which was a wreck, but it didn't take too long for me to get it turned around. And one of the reasons for that is I had regionals that were awesome, and they backed me up with whatever I wanted. Armed security, bigger budget for some things. Carpet was one of our biggest items, and appliances. But anyway, that doesn't have anything to do with what I'm trying to get across. So when you're under the gun and you're going to be inspected and looked at under a magnifying glass, either whether it's your regional that's going to do it, the owners of the properties. Now, it's not very often, but occasionally an owner will want to go with the regional and tour their properties that they own to see what kind of job the management company is doing. Well, you get notice of that, and if your property is not tip top, everybody on your property is expected to get out there and rectify things, especially your make ready or your model, your office, your rec rooms, and your curb appeal is very important. If an owner or a regional comes to your property and your curbs have not been painted in a long time, there's trash, there's dead landscaping, you're going to get your butt raked over the coals for that, because it's an embarrassment to the company, to your regional who happens to be walking the owner around the property. So anyway, it's like when you know you're going to have an inspection of any kind, you get your butt in gear. Now, I am very proud to say that on my properties, we didn't have to sweat it, because our properties were always in good condition. Even if I had to go and clean an apartment right beside my housekeeper, if I had to help my painter paint, if I had to get out and paint curbs, which rarely ever happened because my staff was trained good enough to keep this stuff up. Now, we might have had to do a little touch up here and there, but we didn't have to sweat it. And in fact, you know, I guess I should be ashamed to say it, but I'm not. Occasionally, if I thought my guys were kind of slacking a little bit, I would tell them that our regional was coming. That lit the fire. Now, I used to get awards for my properties. I still have, you know, those little paper things they give you. And sometimes you get an award on a wooden plaque. But this is what I think happened. They knew that they were going to be inspected. And so that lit a fire. So that's why that whole area, remember I just told y'all that somebody had been remodeling a trailer and there were windows out there, countertops, pieces of old nasty cabinets. Y'all know what those look like. But anyway, that's what's going on over there, and it'll be very, very interesting to see what happens. Now, what I'm hoping is that this company is going to try to bring this park up to some kind of a standard, that people will be required to clean up around their property. To me, as a property manager, it looks horrible. And I know it may not to a lot of people, but when you've managed properties before, your eyes immediately go to things that need to be addressed. And I don't know if there are 3, 4, maybe 5 trailers that are okay. The owners of this property own trailers that are vacant and falling apart, but they will not do anything about it. They won't haul them off and take them to a special graveyard for things like that. They won't fix them up and lease them out. They're just sitting there rotting, being an eyesore. And they have a lot of trailers in there that they rent out. And they don't keep those up either. It's not a renter's responsibility to paint the outside and do structural improvements. They pay their rent, they get to live there. And they are required not to be trashy, well, in most cases. And they're supposed to keep the inside up. But anyway, I am so hoping that there are going to be some big changes, positive changes. I mean, the sign coming into the property is ridiculous. The curb appeal is horrible. The office, the supposedly rec rooms, there's a pool table in a room. None of that stuff has been cleaned up or renovated. I couldn't tell you how many years, but I know the furniture in there, I think, is probably from the 70s or 80s. I'm not sure. So I'm really hopeful, you guys, that things are going to change for the positive. I mean, it makes such a difference when you drive onto a property, what the curb appeal looks like, the feeling that it gives you. And you know, I've done some pretty strong critiquing of mobile home parks before and RV parks before. And so much of it is not even about having money. It's about people being held to the community policies, which are there for a reason. But if they're not being enforced, then what good are they? You might as well just rip them up. So I'm really hoping that there's going to be some positive stuff. But anyway, I'm going to grab something to eat here at Mickey D's, and Hazel and I are going to the laundromat. It's very, very cool. And I wake up in the night, of course, to go potty. And I always check to make sure that Miss Hazel is covered up and she is not cold. But that's it for this video, y'all. I love you. Do something fun today. And if I do anything else fun today, I'll definitely let you know. Bye now.